Hello friends, welcome to Learn Without Doubts, and today's topic is India on the eve of British conquest. Now we all know that Aurangzeb was the last Mughal ruler who was efficient enough to rule, and after his death on 3rd March 1707, Mughals became very weak due to inefficient rulers which followed Aurangzeb. And the era after the death of Aurangzeb is known as late Mughal era. Okay, late Mughal era, it starts from 1707 and it goes up to 1857. That was first revolt of independence in India. Okay, so now we will see the list of rulers who were there in the late Mughal era and some important points related to them. So let's start with the first ruler of late Mughal era, that was Bahadur Shah I. Bahadur Shah I, his he was from 1707 to 1712. His name was Muazzam. Okay, his name was Muazzam, and he was also known as Shah-e-Bekhabar. So these things are important. That's why I have mentioned. Uh, Please try to note these things, and in case you are not able to note it, then watch it second time, you will definitely remember it. So Bahadur Shah, his name was Muazzam, and he was also known as Shah-e-Bekhabar. He fought two battles, and both battles were for the succession. Okay, so both battles were fought by Bahadur Shah one, and they both of the battles were battle of succession. First was Battle of Jazau. Battle of Jazau, he fought against his brother Azam. Okay, and then Battle of Bizapur. This was against his brother Kambaksh. So two battle of succession he fought. One was Battle of Jazau, that was against Azam, who was his brother, and then Battle of Bizapur, which was against Kambaksh, which was again his brother. Okay, so Bahadur Shah one was tolerant towards other religion. This is only important for to know about Bahadur Shah one. Now let's come to the next ruler. He was Jahandar Shah. Jahandar Shah was from 1712 to 1713. He was also known as Jahandar Shah was also known as Lampat Murk. See, sometimes these questions are asked in the examination, that Sahib Khabar, who was known as Shahib Khabar, then who was known as Lampat Murk. That's why I have mentioned, and please try to remember it. So Jahandar Shah, he was also known as Lampat Murk.
Zulfikar Khan helped Jahandar Shah to become emperor. Okay, and Jahandar Shah was infamous for his relationship with Lal Kuwari. Lal Kuwari was a prostitute, and with whom Jahandar Shah was in relationship, and he was infamous for that. Now, a very important point about Jahandar Shah, that he abolished Jazia. Jazia was a taxation system during Mughal rule, which was taken religious tax type of thing. So this was abolished by Jahandar Shah, this taxation system, and he introduced Izara system. So this also shows the tolerant nature of Jahandar Shah towards the different religions. So after Jahandar Shah came Farooq Siyar. Farooq Siyar came in 1713 and he was king till 1719. A very important uh, point about Farooq Siyar, that during his reign, two important person who were known as Sayyid brothers was Abdullah Khan and Hussein Ali. They were Abdullah Khan and Hussein Ali. These two persons, they were brothers and they were known as Sayyid brothers. Okay, so Abdullah Khan and Hussein Ali, they were known as Sayyid brothers, and Sayyid brothers were known as kingmakers. Why they were known as kingmakers? Because they had lots of money with them, and they had power with them. They had their own army. So at that time, whosoever took help of Sayyid brothers, or in other way we can say that Sayyid brothers wanted, if any Sayyid brothers wanted anyone to become king, he became king at that time. So this Farooq Siyar was the first Mughal king who was made king by with the help of Sayyid brothers. So, but the modus operandi of Sayyid brothers, we should understand that Sayyid brothers, when helped someone, they wanted them to return a lot of things. So they wanted the king to become just a puppet, and Sayyid brothers were the real controller of the king. So this was about the Sayyid brothers. So Farrukhsiyar was the first person, first Mughal who became emperor with the help of Sayyid brothers. And Sayyid brothers, both brothers were Abdullah Khan and Hussein Ali. So Farrukhsiyar was also religiously very tolerant, but later on, as I told you, that once somebody refused to listen to Sayyid brothers, he or she was killed by Sayyid brothers. So Farrukhsiyar refused to listen to him later on, and that's why he was blinded and killed by Sayyid brothers. The same Sayyid brothers who made him king, the same Sayyid brothers killed him. Okay, so after that, after Farrukhsiyar, Rafiud Darjat became king with the help of Sayyid brothers. See, that is why they are known as kingmakers, Sayyid brothers, because they made king during the Mughal era, during the late Mughal era. That is why Sayyid brothers are very important. So Rafiud Darjat was again made king by Sayyid brothers, and he was the king from February 28 to June 4, 1719. Shortest period among Mughals. He was the king Mughal emperor for the shortest period among Mughals. So he also took help of Sayyid brothers, and that is how he became the Mughal emperor.
Then comes Rafiud-Dawla. After Rafiud-Darjat came Rafiud-Dawla. So he was king from June 6 to September 1719. Again very short term, and Sayyid brothers placed Rafiud-Dawla with the title Shah Jahan II. So his title was Shah Jahan II. Rafiud-Dawla's title of Shah Jahan II was given by Sayyid brothers. So Sayyid brothers again helped Rafiud-Dawla also to sit on the throne. Then after Rafiud-Dawla came Muhammad Shah. Muhammad Shah started from 1719, and he ruled till 1748. His name was Roshan Akhtar, and his title was also Rangila. So he is sometimes known as Muhammad Shah Rangila. Okay, and he also took help of Sayyid brothers to become the king, but he knew the modus operandi of Sayyid brothers, that how they treat the king later on when king refuses to listen to them. So he went a step ahead and he took the help of Nizamul Mulk. Okay, so he took the help of Nizamul Mulk and he killed Sayyid brothers with his help. Okay, so Muhammad Shah killed Sayyid brothers, and after that, once Sayyid brothers were killed, so Hyderabad, Awadh, Bengal, Karnataka, it declared independency from Mughal rule. Okay, so Hyderabad, Awadh, Bengal and Karnataka declared independency from Mughal rule. Now, for these separate provinces, Hyderabad, Awadh, Bengal and Karnataka, there were separate kings after they got independency from Mughal rule. So these kings, we will remember, Hyderabad was under Kilij Khan. Kilij Khan is also known as Nizamul Mulk. This was same Nizamul Mulk who helped Sayyid brothers, who helped Muhammad Shah to kill Sayyid brothers. Okay, so Hyderabad was under the rule of Kilij Khan, also known as Nizamul Mulk, and Awadh was under Sadat Khan. Sadat Khan is known as Burhan ul Mulk. Okay, so Sadat Khan was known as Burhan ul Mulk. Then Bengal was under Murshid Quli Khan, and Karnataka was under Sadatullah Khan. So must remember these things: Hyderabad, Kilij Khan, known as Nizamul Mulk; Awadh, Sadat Khan, Burhanul Mulk; Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan; and Karnataka under Sadatullah Khan. A very important incident which took place during the reign of Muhammad Shah, that Nadir Shah, also known as Napoleon of Iran, he invaded in 1739. So sometimes it is asked in the examination that when Nadir Shah invaded India, who was the Mughal king? So we all know now that Muhammad Shah was the Mughal king of India at that time when Nadir Shah invaded in 1739. So Nadir Shah, what he did, he defeated Muhammad Shah where in Battle of Karnal, and in 1739 when Nadir Shah invaded, he fought a war with Muhammad Shah, and with that war is known as Battle of Karnal. And Nadir Shah defeated Muhammad Shah, so Muhammad Shah was defeated. After that, he took Kohinoor diamond. He took Kohinoor diamond from Muhammad Shah, and Takhte Taus. Takhte Taus is also known as Mayur Singhasan. So these two things are very important. That who took back Kohinoor and Takhte Taus with him. So we must remember Nadir Shah was the person who took Kohinoor diamond and Takhte Taus, also known as Mayur Singhasan. So this was taken back by Nadir Shah after defeating Muhammad Shah in the famous Battle of Karnal in 1739. Okay, now comes Ahmad Shah. After Muhammad Shah came Ahmad Shah in 1748 to 1754. During his reign, invasion of Ahmad Shah Abid Ali took place. Ahmad Shah Abid Ali invaded India in 1748, and at that time Ahmad Shah was the Mughal king. Then came Alamgir II. Alamgir II was the king during Battle of Palasi, okay, which took place in June 1757. So during Battle of Palasi, Alamgir II was the king, and Ahmad Shah Abid Ali, when he invaded during Ahmad Shah, okay, Ahmad Shah Abid Ali invaded during the reign of Ahmad Shah. So we should not confuse in between both of them. Both are two different rulers. One was a Mughal ruler and one who came from outside. So Ahmad Shah Abid Ali came from outside, and at that time when he invaded, so Ahmad Shah was the king of India. He was the Mughal king of India. And after the invasion, after Ahmad Shah Abid Ali invaded India, he reached Delhi during the reign of Alamgir II. Okay, so at that time when Ahmad Shah Abid Ali reached Delhi, at that time Ahmad Shah was changed. Ahmad Shah was no more king, and Alamgir II, Alamgir II was the Mughal king when he reached Delhi. So Ahmad Shah Abid Ali reached Delhi in January 1757. Then a very small king was there, Shah Jahan III. He was from 1758 to 1759. Not very important from the exam perspective. That's why I have not mentioned him. So, but remember his name, that Shah Jahan III was there, and he was from 1758 to 1759. Then came Shah Alam II. He was from 1759 to 1806. He declared himself king in Bihar. This Shah Alam II declared himself king in Bihar. See what happened. This is very important context. Shah Jahan II and Shah Alam II, because Shah Jahan III and Shah Alam II both were during same time. Okay, so when both were during same time, Shah Jahan III also wanted to become king, and Shah Alam II also wanted to become king. So what happened? Shah Jahan III, he thought that I am the king, and he proclaimed himself king in Delhi. But in 1759, what happened? Shah Alam II, he declared himself king in Bihar. Okay, both were Mughal rulers. One was in Delhi and one was in Bihar. So Shah Alam II in 1759, he declared himself king in Bihar, and because he is more important than Shah Jahan III, that's why we study Shah Alam II, who declared himself king in 1759. Okay, so Shah Alam II declared himself king in Bihar, and he won two decisive battle he fought. First was third battle of Panipat, which was in 1761, and then battle of Buxar, which was in 1764. So these two wars were fought. He also held in during these two fights, and he was the king at that time. He was the Mughal king at that time. So he got East India Company's protection under Treaty of Allahabad. So after Battle of Buxar, he got East India Company's protection, which is known, and under the treaty which is known as the Treaty of Allahabad. And later on, he was blinded by British. He was blinded by British, and Lord Lake provided British protection to Shah Alam II again in 1803, because once he was blinded by British, but again Lord Lake, who was a British, he provided British protection again to Shah Alam II in 1803. So after that came Akbar II, Akbar II or Akbar II, whatever you call him. So he was the person, a very important incident associated with him, that he was the person who assigned title of Raja to Ram Mohan Rai, and after that we know Ram Mohan Rai as Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Okay, so Akbar too was a person who gave title of Raja to Ram Mohan Rai, and during his reign, what happened, important point is, coin bearing name of Mughals stopped in 1835. So the Mughal coins which were in the circulation till then, it was stopped, and during that time, who was the king? So Akbar too was the king, during whose tenure coin bearing name of Mughals were stopped in 1835. Then came Bahadur Shah II. Okay, so Bahadur Shah II, we all know about him, that he was the king during first revolt of 1857. So Bahadur Shah II, he was declared, we will discuss about him in detail when we will be covering the chapter about the first revolt of 1857. So but the crux about that chapter is, he was declared king by the rebellions, Bahadur Shah II, and but he was too old at that time, but forcefully he had to take that position of being a king of the, and he led the rebellions army during the first revolt of 1857. So Bahadur Shah too is an important figure, and he was the last Mughal king in India. So we must remember him, that he was also known as Bahadur Shah Zafar. So we know him by this name only, that he was known by as Bahadur Shah Zafar, and he was the king during the revolt of 1857. And later on, once this revolt of 1857 was crushed by British, so Bahadur Shah Zafar was captured, and he was sent to Rangoon. Sorry, this is not set. So he was sent to Rangoon, and where he died in 1862. Okay, so this was all about the late Mughal era. And one very important point which I missed, so I have mentioned it over here, that Queen Victoria announced the formal end of Mughal rule in India on 1st November 1858. So on 1st November 1858, after the revolt of 1857, as we know that I told you just now that Bahadur Shah Zafar was the king of that, he led that rebellion at that time. So after that, that was the date was 1st November 1858, when Queen Victoria, she announced the formal end of Mughal rule in India. And that's come to end of this topic, end of this chapter. Hope you will remember these facts. These facts are very important for the examination. So please write it into the comment box, how did you like, and if you don't like also, please let me know. Okay, if you are comfortable in English, I am also comfortable in Hindi too. Okay, but I have decided to go in English only, that's why I am teaching in English. But if you want me to speak in between in Hindi also, so that you may get better understanding, so I can do that too. So thank you very much for listening. Please like the channel, please subscribe the channel, and please share. If you find it useful, please share this with your friend, because sharing is caring. Thank you very much.